So simple interest, today we will be learning about simple interest. So simple interest, as the name itself suggests, it's a flat interest which is given on your money invested, or in other words, you have to pay that simple interest on money taken as a loan. Okay, so let's say your rate of interest is 10%. Okay, and you have invested rupees 1 lakh for 1 year. Okay, now this rate of interest, when you say 10%, it's 10% per annum. That is 10% for 1 year. Okay, now this 1 lakh rupees is known as a principal. Okay, principal. Now this is a basic amount which has been invested. And this 1 year is a period for which the 1 lakh rupees is invested. Now when you say the simple interest, the interest will be, amount of interest will be your 1 lakh, that is your principal amount, into 10%, that is 10 divided by 100, and the money has been kept for 1 year, so into number of years. Now 10% will be your interest which you will receive for 1 year, so into number of years, that is 1 in this case. So your interest will be how much? 10,000. Okay, now in the same example, let's say rate of interest is 8%. Okay, and you have invested 1 lakh for 3 years. Okay, so interest amount will be 1 lakh into 8 divided by 100, that is 8%. This is per annum, so per year you will receive 8% of 1 lakh into number of years. Number of years here is 3. So what will be the amount? Amount will be 8%, so 8,000 into 8 3s are 24. So 24,000 will be the interest that will be received at the end of 3 years. Now when you withdraw the amount after the end of 3 years, total amount received will be your principal amount, that is the money you invested initially, plus interest, that is 24,000. So it comes to 1,24,000. Okay, now we'll see the formula for calculating simple interest. Okay, and we'll understand what is the logic behind this formula. Now formula for simple interest is interest amount is equal to principal into interest rate, okay, into number of years, okay, or the period. So the formula is interest rate upon 100, you have to say, because since the interest rate is in percentage. So formula is, usually the formula is written a PNR upon 100. Okay, that PNR is nothing but P is for principal, N is for number of years, and R is for interest rate upon 100. This is the interest amount. Okay, then the total amount that will be received at the end of the period will be your principal plus interest. Okay, now this is what we had seen in the example. Now we will see how to derive a formula. Now principal is P plus interest is what? P and R upon 100, correct? So that is a principal. Now if you take P common, Okay, so that is P into bracket 1 plus NR upon 100. That will be the total amount which will be received at the end of the period. So this is how you derive the formula. Now we will take the same example, that is previous example, and find out what is the interest amount. Okay, interest amount as per the formula. Okay, so interest amount will be your P N R upon 100. So P here is 1 lakh, N here is 3 years, and R is 8% per annum. So PNR upon 100, so that comes to how much? 1 lakh into 3 into 8 divided by 100. So that comes to 24,000. So this is what is the interest amount we got previously, even without using the formula. So it's better to understand the formula rather than just by hearting it. Okay, so what we did is we calculated the interest logically and then we derived the formula, so that is easy for us to understand the formula. Now let's calculate the amount which will be received at the end of the 3 years using formula. Okay, now what will be the amount that will be received? It will be the principal amount plus your interest, so that comes to 1,24,000. Now let's see if we get the same amount using this formula. Okay, so this is a formula for amount. Okay, so let's see. Amount is equal to P. P is 1 lakh. Okay, to 1 plus NR. NR is nothing but 8 into 3 years divided by 100. So that comes to 1 lakh plus 8 3s are 24. Okay, and 24 divided by 100 is 0.24. So that comes to 1 lakh into 1.24. So this ultimately comes to 1,24,000. So this is what is the amount which we have, which we will be getting after the 3 years. Now the same amount which we got earlier without using the formula. So it's better you don't by heart the formula, you understand the concept of calculating the interest and understand the formula. Okay, remember the formula, don't by heart the formula. Okay, now let's see what happens when the interest rate is annual, right? So let's see what happens when the interest is given at the end of 3 months or at the end of the 6 months, or when the amount invested is less than a year. Okay, now Mr. A invested rupees 2 lakh at the interest rate of 10% per annum for 6 months. Calculate the interest and amount receivable at the end of the 6th month. Okay, now first we'll calculate it without using the formula. Okay, so what will be the interest amount? Interest amount will be 2 lakh. Okay, so on 2 lakh we'll be receiving interest at the rate of 10% per annum. Now this is very important. This interest rate is how much? This is 10% per annum. So the interest is 10 divided by 100. Okay, now this interest is for per annum, that is for 12 months. Okay, now amount invested is only for 6 months, right? So whatever is the total interest we are calculating now, 2 lakh into 10 by 100, that comes to 20,000. This is for 12 months. We have to calculate for 6 months. So we have to divide it by 12 into 6. So the amount of interest comes to 10,000. correct? Now what is the total amount receivable? Is your principal plus interest, that is amount invested plus the interest. So 2 lakhs plus 10,000, so that comes to 2 lakh 10,000. So this is the amount that needs to be, that will be received by the received by Mr. A at the end of the 6 months. Okay, now let's try to calculate this amount and interest using the formula. Okay, let's try to put the formula logically. Now here I have written the formula for interest amount and the amount receivable. Okay, so let's try to solve this by using formula. P is equal to 2 lakhs. R, that is rate of interest, is 10% per annum. Okay, now N is number of years. Okay, now in our previous example, the period for which the amount was invested was more than a year, so it was easy to calculate number of years, that is 2 years or 3 years. Now here the period is less than the year. Okay, so it is kept for only half year, right? So number of years will calculate the fraction, that is 6 months divided by what is 12 months, that is 0.5. So number of years is 0.5. Okay, so interest amount will be 2 lakh into 10 into 0.5 divided by 100, so that comes to 10,000. Now let's see what is the amount receivable. Okay, amount receivable is equal to P, so P is 2 lakhs, 1 plus N is 0.5 into rate of interest is 10 divided by 100, correct? So amount will be 2 lakhs into 1 plus 0.5 into 10. Okay, is 5 divided by 100, so that is 0.05. Okay, so 2 lakh into 1.05, so that comes to 2 lakh 10,000. Okay, now we'll see one more example in number of days. Okay, Mr. R invested rupees 5 lakh at the interest rate of 12% per annum for 70 days. Calculate interest and amount receivable. So first we will calculate it without using the formula. Okay, so interest is equal to 5 lakh. Okay, so on 5 lakh you will receive interest at 12%. Okay, now this interest will be for the entire year, correct? So we need to calculate interest only for 70 days. So this whatever amount of interest that we get, we have to divide it by 365 days. Since it is given in days, we divide it by 365 days into 70. Okay, that comes to 11506.85. Okay, now the amount that will be receivable at the end of year will be principal, that is 5 lakh plus the interest amount 506.85, so it comes to 51106.85. Okay, now let's see what will be the amount using the formula. Okay, so interest is equal to PNR upon 100. Okay, what is the interest? P is equal to how much? 5 lakh. N is how much? N is, now number of years here is in fraction, 70 divided by 365. It's the number of years. Okay, that comes to 0.1918. And then R is 12% per annum. So let's calculate the interest amount. 5 lakh into 12 into 0.18, entire thing divided by 100. So that comes to 11508. So there will be some difference of 2-3 rupees because of rounding off. Okay, now this is what is the interest amount. Now let's calculate the amount receivable using the formula of P into 1 plus NR upon 100. So that comes to 5 lakh into 1 plus NR is 0.1918 into divided by 100. That comes to 5 lakh. Okay, into 1 plus 2.3014 divided by 100. Now if you solve this, it comes to 511507. So this is the same as we calculated it without using the formula. So this is how you need to calculate the simple interest. Okay, and this is a formula for the simple interest. Now sometimes what happens in problems, interest rate is not given, sometimes interest amount is given. So in that case you can always use this formula and calculate what is the interest rate. Okay, for example, if interest is equal to PNR upon 100, if some of the values are missing, one value is missing, you can always use the formula and calculate the other values. Okay, so this was about the simple interest. Thank you.